We're at the north end of the ranch at this particular point, which is about 2.5 miles north of the entrance. And if you'll notice that the aromatics of the lake are much stronger here, and you'll feel that it's much cooler here as well. The water's a little closer, not too much, but it sweeps around the side of the hill, and we get these breezes, the heavier breezes in here all the time.
It's important that the amount of wind you're getting here, you know, maybe it gets up to 10 knots or something like that.
Yeah, not much. It doesn't get much more than that.
It's nothing like what you would get, the problems you get with pHs down in the Salinas Valley, where it's blowing along at 30 or 40 knots.
No, we never
every
get
day.
That. We never get that.
And you get stomatical closure. Here you're just cooling the vines off and letting the sun kind of flick through and give that fruit a little bit of light exposure here and there.
Exactly.
So then what do we got behind you here? What's this big pile of rocks here?
Well, this pile of rocks was put up by two dozers, two caterpillars, a D9 and a D8, and about 30 guys. And this is actually what you can see. These small rocks, these are all picked up by hand, and my guys call this the spine of the devil, or el espinazo del diablo in Spanish.
And it just runs all the way down to the bottom of the hill.
It runs about a quarter mile here. So
I tried to pronounce that for Daniel, and he laughed because it turned out what I was saying was the spinaches of the devil.
Okay. Oh, we were talking about the rock, and this particular hillside. It holds in the heat.
About the Cab Franc and the Merlot and the Malbec, not necessarily Cabernet Sauvignon.
And Petit Syrah as well. Those varietals that are on this hillside here appear to really like this heat to be retained in, and I'm not talking about hot. I'm just saying it's a heat retention that we don't see in the lower areas. They seem to like it, and I think it produces a quality of fruit separate from below.
Well, Jake, here we are in the Merlot, and I think this is really some of the best Merlot in the state. If you like lots of fruit and lots of color and lots of minerality and really hardly any veg, what do you attribute that to?
Well, I think basically it's the soil again. This is 181, clone 181. It's a French clone, and which was recommended to us, and I believe it's a good one at that. Very fruity, as you well know, and if you'll notice, we leaf pick this all the way down so that the fruit stays in the sun the whole time. Because of the orientation of these rows, we don't get sunburned, and we in turn leaf pick this early, and we believe it's kind of like a suntan. The skin toughens up and doesn't get a burn on it.
And so that gives you that bright fruit without any bell pepper character at all.
Exactly.
And lots of color. Well, that makes sense. Just a beautiful, nice, even stand all the way, so you get nice, even ripening. So
on the set, huh? I mean,
yeah.
So this is my favorite block right here, that Cab Franc going right up the hill. I think this is just some of the best Cab Franc in the state. I love the vine balance here. You know, you've just got a relatively shy canopy, so you don't get any shading, and that fruit is just going to be loaded with spice and fruit, and really not any veg character at all, and a fair slug of color and tannin.
Yes, it is. Exactly. Yeah, I've been told by you and other people that this is some of the best there is. So again, we're pleased, and if you'll notice, this is in the red soils with rock, and plenty of rock and good drainage.
Okay, so what we got here?
This is Malbec, clone 3, and it is a booger to grow. It's alternate bearing, and which means every other year it gets a fair crop on it. This is the off year.
Yeah, so you got real loose clusters there.
Exactly, but this thing has loose clusters all the time. You'll notice we pulled the leaves on the, if you can see here, we pulled the leaves on the morning side, so you can see obviously more fruit.
Oh yeah.
And again, you see the red soil in the rocks.
Yeah, same beautiful soil. There's a little igneous in there too.
This particular block has received golds and silvers as well out of it, and we're very pleased with the production.
Boy, those are loose clusters.
That's the way it is. What we find is that when we start pruning early in February, we start here in the rock because it retains the heat. And so we go around the cornice of this hill and doing all our pruning and pre-pruning, and then we move down the hill. But this is Petite Syrah, and as you can see, we have a little bit of rock on this particular hillside.
Yeah, right up at the top there. Look at that stuff. Let's take a look at this stuff.
Now, in this particular block, we sell to 4 different wineries. We sell to Steve Ledson in Sonoma, Bruce Cohen in Sonoma. We sell to the Hess Collection and to Trinchero.
You've been getting some pretty good scores.
We have. We've gotten double golds out of here, best of sweepstakes at the Visa Classic in San Francisco. Golds and silvers, and Steve Ledson just scored a 94 out of this particular block. So
From the Spectator.